What's up guys, and welcome back to Software and Audio Solutions, and today we're talking about Call of Duty Warzone 2 Season 4 and its latest release and its latest patch notes. Now ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to jump through a couple of steps that you can take to make your game run as perfect as possible. Doesn't matter if you're running a low tier, mid tier to a high end machine. I'm going to show you settings that you can use inside Windows and inside the game as well. You're going to need to watch this entire video to follow my steps to have a smooth gameplay experience. Don't jump through my video, don't jump straight to the COD settings inside the game. You're going to need to follow my guidelines. Please do so, and then please, for the love of fuck, leave a like, leave a comment down below, because it takes a lot of time and dedication to figure out what is the best settings for this game right now for the latest season. Alright ladies and gentlemen, let's jump straight into the Windows settings that you can use to get a smoother gameplay experience through Windows settings before we jump into the game. Alright, so the first thing I highly recommend you go ahead and do is click on your start button over here and go to settings, and you're going to come inside here. You're going to come to gaming over here, and you're going to go to game mode. Over here, I highly recommend that you put game mode on. It makes the game run much smoother, and I highly recommend you go ahead and do it. It doesn't matter if you're running an AMD machine, a Ryzen machine, an Intel machine, or an Nvidia graphics card. It doesn't matter. I highly recommend you put this on. From here, you're going to go to graphics settings and make sure that your hardware accelerated GPU scheduling is turned off. You do not need this to be on, okay? For Season 4, I've tested it to try it on. It just makes the game worse. So turn it off, leave it off. If yours is already off, just leave it off. Don't touch it. From here, you're going to go to the home button, and then from here, you're going to go to privacy, scroll all the way down, and then go to where it says background apps. Now, for people out there that's running Windows 10 like me, all you're going to need to do is click on here where it says on, click off. What it's going to do is it's not going to use resources like all these things running in the background, like using your resources like your RAM, your CPU, and your VRAM usage. You don't want it to do that. If you're on Windows 11, it's more complicated. Google how to disable them, because you're going to have to disable them individually. I'm not going to make this video any longer by Googling and showing you how to do that. You can go do that by yourself. You are the one that installed Windows 11, not me. I'm not using Windows 11 because it's absolute dog shit. I know I'm going to get comments down below saying, no, Windows 11 is the best, it's the best. No, it's fucking shit. I don't give a fuck. We all have our own opinions. Awesome. From here, we're going to go to the home button, and then I highly recommend you go ahead and do this. You go to apps over here, and then come over here where it says apps for websites. Now, this is all your installed programs on your machine. I highly recommend that if you have only a C drive where this game is installed, or you only have one drive, go ahead and uninstall all your single player games and bullshit that you don't need anymore. Go ahead and do that. You want your machine to have at least more than 100 gigs free, maybe even 50 gigs free. Please have on your C drive more than enough space. It should be in the blue, not in the red. As soon as it hits the red, your machine slows down, your games become worse, not just Call of Duty, all games in general. Alright, let's jump out of this. Right, ladies and gentlemen, so something that plays a very big role on Warzone itself, like black screen errors, your game crashing randomly to the desktop, and stuff like that, it might be corrupt files on your Windows. Now, something you can do is this over here, and it plays a very big role for people out there with Windows 11 machines or 10 machines, and just in general, it can help you for all games, because you might have corrupt files on your machine. This is all you're going to need to do. You're going to come to the search button over here and type in CMD, and you're going to right-click on this and say Run as Administrator, then say yes to the prompt over here. You're going to type in SFC spacebar /scan now, one word, and then press enter. As soon as you press enter, what it's going to do is it's going to go look through your Windows files, through all your SSDs, hard drives, solid state drives, M.2s, whatever the fuck you have. It's going to go look if there's anything wrong with your machine or if it has corrupt files on it. If it does, it will automatically fix it for you. Then once it's done and it's found files that's corrupt and it's fixed it, I highly recommend you restart your machine, because then it's fixed your machine for you. Alright, so the next step I highly recommend you go ahead and do is this over here, and it plays the most important role in Call of Duty Warzone with this latest season. Is this over here. You're going to click on File Explorer, and you're going to go to Documents, you're going to go to Call of Duty, Players, and then go to this file over here that says options.3.cod22. A lot of people ask me for this, so I'm going to show you this. Open this up with any notepad or any editing software, and then scroll all the way to the bottom. Right? From here, you're going to change a couple of things inside here. Number one is the thread count, okay? So where it says render a worker count. Now, I have an 8-core, 8-thread CPU. I highly recommend you put your total cores inside here. Now, with the latest season, yes, it's still your total cores. You do not need to put half your cores inside here. Now, a lot of people might comment down below saying, yo, dude, I halved mine and mine runs better now. Now, I'm going to put that out there. If you are halving your cores and you get better frames out of the game, then obviously you're going to halve it. Okay? So for the people out there that's halving their cores, so mine would be 4 then, halving your total cores, not your performance cores, your actual cores. If you half it and you get more frames out of the game, then half it. For me, I keep mine on 8. I have a 9700K. It's an Intel CPU. It's an 8-core, 8-thread CPU. And no, it's not your threads. It's your total cores. Okay? I have my total cores over here, and it runs perfectly fine with the latest season. Lots of people ask me, yo, dude, why did you leave this out in your previous video and all that? So here we go. I'm in it. I'm in the config file. Okay? So this is something I highly recommend you go ahead and do. This over here where it says video memory scale, right now for the latest season, if you copy this and put it there, it doesn't work. It doesn't make the game run better, it doesn't give you more FPS or anything like that. As long as your video memory scale in-game is at 90%, it will always look like that. Okay? So if it's at 75, it will put it at 0.75. Okay? If it's at anything lower, then it will be that number. Okay, a lot of people are complaining about this one over here, and they don't know what to do about it, alright? So I'm going to explain it to you. A lot of people type in false over here, and then apparently it gives them more FPS. Now, I've tried it with the new season. It doesn't do nothing. Jack shit. And Jack left town. So don't do that, okay? Leave it at true. You don't want to touch this. Just leave it there. Okay, cool. So this one over here is another thing that I recommend that you don't touch either, because you're changing this inside the game. Okay, this is for DLSS cards and all that kind of nonsense, but you do not need to touch this. You really don't. You're going to touch it inside the game. So once you're in game, I'm going to show you the settings inside the game that I'm using, and then what you should be using. Okay, don't do it inside here. A lot of people are also changing the version of here to 0, and then apparently they get more FPS. Now, I don't recommend it. I don't recommend fucking with this files around here, because a lot of people are fucking things up and then the game breaks. You do not want your game to break and then it's unplayable, so don't change those things. Things that you can change is this over here. Apparently, if you change this to false, it makes the game run better. Try it out. If it doesn't work for you, change it back to true. It's very easy to do. And then obviously halving your cores here or having your total cores. Once you're done with that, you're going to go over here and say save. Now, if you change something inside here, anything inside here, and you wanted to go back to its defaults because you fucked something up or whatever the case might be, all you're going to do is you're going to close out of this, and I'm just going to say don't save. You right click on this file and you delete it. Open up your card again. It will make a new file like this and it will be at its default settings. And you should be good to go. And then you can change it however you want to from there. Like only halving your cores or only changing one thing at a time. Okay? So it does take time and dedication. Yes, I know you have to jump through fucking hoops for this game, but that's just how it is. Okay? That's Call of Duty for you. The developers don't give a fuck about you, me, or the Call of Duty community. So that's why we need to watch videos on how to fix the fucking game. Okay, that's why I dedicate my entire YouTube channel to this game, is to help the Call of Duty community as best I can. Alright, let's jump straight into the next steps. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, something that plays a very, very big role with the new season is this over here. You're going to need to update your GPU drivers to the latest drivers over here. As you can see, I have the latest drivers installed for Nvidia graphics card, which is 536.23. This is for the latest driver. Now, a lot of people out there comment down below saying, yo dude, I'm rolling back my driver because this new version doesn't work for me so well, and I do more FPS on rolling back my driver to the previous version. If you are one of those people and you're experiencing that FPS loss, when you roll back your driver you do more FPS, then go ahead and do so. Right now at this very moment, with this new latest driver update, the 536.23, my game runs perfectly fine. I don't know if it's going to be the same with you. Go ahead and try it out, but I highly recommend to update your GPU drivers if you are an Nvidia user or an AMD user. Alright, let's jump straight into the next step. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so something that plays a very, very big role inside your game, if you are an Nvidia user like me. If you're an AMD user, unfortunately I can't help you here, but if you are an Nvidia user like me, come inside Nvidia control panel, right click on your desktop and come to Nvidia control panel. You're going to come inside here and go to adjust image settings with preview, click on use the advanced 3D image settings and click on take me there. It's basically going to take you to manage 3D settings. You're going to come inside here. Now, you're going to just copy everything inside here as is, and then I'm going to go over a couple of things. So just copy everything inside here. You could just pause my video. Everything inside here should be good to go. Alright, now, something I want to show you is this. This where it says CUDA GPUs, you're not going to click on this over here. Click, and then say all. Make sure that this is checked. If it's unchecked, it's not going to help you. So make sure it's checked over here. Highly recommend you go ahead and do that. This where it says low latency mode, a lot of people in my comments has left me a comment asking, yo dude, I only have ultra. If you only have ultra, go ahead and select it. If you have on and ultra, put it on on. Do not put this off. It's going to help you with latency in your game. This is what low latency mode does. The reason why low latency mode is there, it's for your GPU and your CPU to keep up with one another much faster. Okay, from here, I highly recommend you scroll down and then come to open GL rendering GPU and select your dedicated graphics card. Go to power management mode, prefer maximum performance. Shader cache 100 gigs. It still helps with stuttering. I put this to this over here. I'm just going to show you. I'm going to click on it and then go to default driver. If I put this on default driver or disable, I get micro stutters in my game. But if I keep it on 100 gigs like normal, like the previous season, I don't get micro stutters in my game at all, or jitters and stuff like that, whatever you want to call it. I highly recommend you keep this on 100 gigs. This on allow high performance on, and then threaded optimization is for people out there with hyper-threaded CPUs. If you do have one of those, or you have a Ryzen machine like an X version that's basically been overclocked, put it on, not off, not auto, on. Triple buffering, off, and then basically these are just 3D settings. You don't need this. You are not playing a virtual reality fucking game. Don't even care about that. Then from here, you're going to apply these settings. Don't worry, your screen's going to flash a couple of times. It's just applying the Nvidia control panel settings to your machine right now and to all the games you are going to be playing. And trust me, leave a comment down below if other games are running better now with these settings as well that I'm showing you here that you're going to apply. Because a lot of people change stuff inside here on videos and on Reddit that I've seen. They say, put this on, put this off, put this on, put this on times 16. What it's going to do is it's going to make all your other games run dog shit as well. So don't do that. Copy this and you should be good to go. From here, you're going to go to config around and physics and make sure your GPU is selected. Not auto select, not CPU, your GPU. The only reason why you would select CPU is if you have an APU unit. Basically, that means you have no dedicated graphics card. You have a CPU with a GPU built into it, and you are playing this game on that. If you are one of those people, which I'm guessing is like 5% out of, I don't know, a 95% gaming community, then you're going to click on this. But if you have a dedicated graphics card like me and like everyone else that's playing games with a dedicated graphics card, select your dedicated graphics card and then say apply here at the bottom. From here, you're going to go to adjust desktop color settings and come inside here. This plays a very big role inside Call of Duty with every season, with all the maps. The new map that's been released for Warzone Season 4 looks fantastic, especially when you land on the grass between tents and shit. So what's going to happen is you're going to do this. Brightness, 50%. Contrast, 65%. Perfect. Gamma, 1.00. Digital vibrance, do not have this at 50%. If you have this at 50%, it's its defaults. Your color's not going to pop at all. Your game's going to look very dulled out. Don't do that. So what you're going to do is you're going to lift this up, but I highly recommend you click on image 3 and see what it does over here. So mine is 95 and has always been my sweet spot for every game I'm playing. This applies for all games, not just Warzone. But trust me, Warzone is going to look beautiful and it's going to be popping off and you're going to love it. I highly recommend you go ahead and do this. Apply these settings like this and let's jump straight into the next step. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, we are in the game right now, and welcome to Season 4. Now, something I just want to point out is that there is a new map out right now, and I jumped into a couple of rounds of this over here, solo queuing, even though it's quads. I solo queued just to see how the new map looks, how it feels, how it runs, and what upscaling you should be using right now, which is the best to use at this very moment in time. Okay. So, I'm going to jump over that over here, go to this little gear icon over here, and then go to graphics. You're going to come to quality, obviously have this at custom. Right now, I'm using Nvidia image scaling on native, and then at 10% on the Nvidia image scaling sharpness. This is what I use right now at this very moment. Before this, I was using this, and I tried this on the new map, and I'm actually losing FPS. Yes, the Intel makes the game look like a AAA title game. It makes it look really good, clear, crystal clear. You can see your enemies. Everything looks good. The buildings, like the texture detail, everything's really pretty, basically, in a shit show way. Whatever, the game's in any ways fucked. But I found out that Nvidia image scaling is exactly the same and you do more FPS. It's exactly the same. There's no difference. The trees aren't different. The buildings aren't different. The ground isn't different. Your guns isn't different. They don't look worse than this one over here. So I highly recommend, if you have a mid-tier to a high-end machine, use Nvidia image scaling right now, with this being on native and then 10% on the sharpening. The sharpening is your own personal preference. Mine is 10. Try 10 out. You can play around with that. It's your own personal preference. This should be the only thing you're going to play around with, not with this, not with that. Just leave this as is, okay? You can have this at full make SMA 82 times, so you don't have jagged edges in the game. This at normal. You do not need to push this higher. If you push this higher, you are just going to lose FPS. You are here for an FPS boost guide, not here to lose frames, okay? So I recommend putting this at normal, not high, not ultra, not low, normal. Okay, video memory scale, I highly recommend, if you have a 6 gig graphics card and higher, put this at 90%. Always put this at 90%. I know there's going to be a bunch of comments down below, people trying to correct me, saying like, no, if I put this at 75, my game runs better. If I put this at 50, then my game runs better. Well, don't leave a comment, then just put it at 50. Put it at 75 or wherever the fuck you want to put it. If your game runs better, then leave it in your way. If I'm saying, look, put it at 90%, and you go ahead and put it at 90, and your game runs worse, then you change it to 75 and it runs better, okay? Then type your specific machine out, the specs, the CPU, the RAM, the GPU, your motherboard, everything, because it depends on your machine. It physically depends on your machine what you're going to do inside here, especially your GPU, the graphics card you're running, and what you're pairing it with. Are you pairing it with a Ryzen CPU or an Intel CPU? That's why this is here, okay? Lots of people also confuse this with the scaling. For instance, if you have a 4 gig graphics card, I don't recommend that you put this at 90%, because you are going to eat the living shit out of that card and you are going to lose frames. If you have something like a 6 gig and higher, always put this at 90. Always 6 gig and higher. So 6 gigs of VRAM and higher, 90% on the VRAM memory scale. Please go ahead and do that. Scroll down. You're going to have this at normal. You're going to have these 3 things at high always. I didn't change it, and my game still looks perfectly fine, so I don't need to change it. I don't need to drop it, because the new season is running perfectly fine. There isn't any bugs right now, but I'm very sure when they keep doing small little patch updates that the game's going to be fucked even more. So make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel, so if something comes out and they break the game, I will be doing an upload of what to do to fix that bullshit, because I know this game does that. Every time they release a new season, small patches come out, then they fuck the game up. That's just COD for you in general. They fuck the game up, okay? That's me being blunt, alright? That's pretty much Call of Duty. They fuck their game up with every season. They fuck their game up with every update. Most of the people on my YouTube channel that's watching this video right now, that subscribed, know this, alright? And that's why I focus on this game, to help the Call of Duty community. Alright, cool. Anyways, right now, like I said, this is the best upscaling you can be using. And if you are going to correct me in the comments down below saying, no, I use this, no, I use this, no, I use this. That's why I go over all of these things, okay? So, if you do not like this, the Nvidia image scaling, let's say you don't use it, you don't like it, or it doesn't work for you, then I recommend going with AMD FSR. Go to show more and put this at ultra quality. It makes the game look good and you'll still have good FPS, okay? If you have a mid-tier machine, I would recommend using this, then changing this to SMA 82 times, keep this at normal, and then if you are running anything like, I don't know, a 4 gig graphics card or a 6 gig that can't handle this game correctly, then change this. You can type in here 75 and press enter. Leave it like that, okay? You should be good to go. AMD FSR is a very good upscaling for people out there that's struggling with FPS. And then another one would be this one over here, Fidelity FX Cache. Go with this, change this back to full make SMA 82 times so you don't have jagged edges while you're using Fidelity FX Cache. Fidelity FX Cache, I have mine at 60 on the sharpening strength. Yours is going to be your own personal preference. Again, normal. And then this, if you have 6 gigs and more, so if you have 8 gigs and you have 12 gigs, you have 24 gigs, push it up. Push it up. Don't let people confuse you and be like in the comments, no, if you put this at 90, it's going to use too much VRAM and your game isn't going to run correctly. Cap. I call fucking cap. I've been doing so many videos for this fucking game and I've been bench testing it on machines. So Just don't listen to people in the comments saying like, no, if you put this to 90, your fucking graphics card's gonna explode. No, it's fucking not, okay? For the love of fuck. Don't get this wrong. Put it at 90 if you have 6 gigs and more, and it's a newer generation graphics card. I have a 2060 OC. It's not the best of cards. No, it's not. I have a 9700K CPU that's been overclocked. It's not the best of CPU, but I can run this game literally on any upscaling and it should be fine. But lots of them give me problems. I can see the FPS loss. So I leave this at 90 and then I change it to any of these upscalings and I see which one gives me the best FPS, the best gameplay, the smoothest gameplay experience, which is this one here. So I highly recommend using this with these over here. Like I said, if you're running anything lower, go with AMD FSR 1.0. A lot of people do also prefer AMD 2.1, but you can't take control of these two things. It automatically overrides it for you, okay? And then it will automatically override your render resolution as well. Okay, so if you want to, and this works perfectly fine for you, the AMD FSR 2.1, go ahead and use it, but then do this. Please, for the love of fuck, put this on quality, because if you put this on balance or performance or ultra quality, your game's going to look like shit. The trees aren't going to render incorrectly. The walls aren't going to render incorrectly. Your characters are going to be jagged as fuck. Don't use this upscaling with these three here. Use it at ultra. You should be good to go. But right now, like I said, is Nvidia image scaling on native 10%, full mic SMA 2 times, normal 90% on your graphics card if you're running 6 gigs and higher. Anything lower than that, like a 10 series that's a 4 gig or something like that, go with 75 or 70. You should be good to go, right? Normal over here. Now, for the people out there that's running lower generation CPUs and GPUs, anything lower than a 20 series, go to low. And don't worry, your game won't look like this with the new season. Try it out. I have. Your game doesn't look like this. It will still look like that. It just eats less VRAM. It's for people out there that doesn't have the amount of VRAM that they're supposed to be having right now in this newer generation in 2023. We are almost again in 2024. So I highly recommend if you're running something like a 4 gig graphics card, upgrade. Save and upgrade your shit. Because it's going to get to the point where I can't help you if you are running a 4 gig graphics card and you are going to be like, nah, I have to put this at very low because my machine's trash. Then I can't help you. But right now, I can. I can help you if you're running a 4 gig card. You can go on low over here and it will work. I have a friend that runs a 1050 Ti. That GPU is extremely old. There's people out there that's running even lower GPUs and they're running this game perfectly fine. But then they use these settings over here. Okay? So they go here, they go to AMD FSR, they go over here, they change this to quality or ultra quality. Keep this at full mic SMA 2 times or put it as SMA 2 times. Not full mic, then it gives you more FPS of a boost, right? This one goes to low, then the game looks a little bit stupid, to be honest with you, so I do recommend normal. Come down, you're going to change this to 65, like that, with my friend's 1050 Ti, and it's been overclocked as well. He puts this at normal, he keeps these three at high, and then the rest I'll go over just now. But this should be your shit that you're running, if you're running a 10 series card, or something in pair as an AMD graphics card. You catch my drift. Anyways, okay, so this is the upscaling I'm using currently, right now at this very moment. I'm using this one over here, normal over here, and then I put this at 90%. I leave this at normal because my game then looks good. It doesn't look much better than low. It does not. There's not a significant increase between low and normal, okay? High over here, and high over here. Always. It doesn't matter what GPU you're running. Because if you start putting this lower, your game's going to look like dog shit, and you don't want that. Okay, from here, clutch draw distance, short, particle quality at low, particle quality level, very low. It basically plays a role with these two. They play a role with each other. Okay? Bullet impacts and sprays on. You can leave it on. It doesn't impact your FPS, your CPU usage, your GPU usage, or anything. It doesn't impact fuck all. Just leave it on. Okay? Damage layers is your own personal preference. Shader quality. This is something a lot of people has questioned me in my comments and asking me, yo dude, does it make my character look better if I put this at high? Or my gun skin and stuff like that? No, it does not. With the new season now as well, it's exactly the same. Leave this at low, there's no difference between these. at all. It's just going to eat more VRAM, which you don't want, okay? The more VRAM this eats, and it climbs more up and up and up, the shittier your game's going to be. You want your game to look good, feel good, and play good all at the same time. So do what I'm doing here. You're going to keep this at low. Tessellation on off. Fucking leave it off. A lot of people put this shit on for some reason. I don't know why the fuck you are putting this on. You don't even need it, okay? It's just going to start basically... Oh my fuck, it's throwing me out of the game because of updates. Are you fucking kidding me right now? It's busy downloading DJ Khaled's hits with the best music. Anyways, so your tessellation, what it's going to do is the particles and stuff like that, alright? Which you do not need to see in this game. You do not need to see the fucking... It's like you trying to see atoms in the game. You do not need to see it, so don't turn it the fuck on. Leave it the fuck off. In all my videos, I say, leave it the fuck off. So, listen to me, leave it the fuck off. For every season that's going to come out, tessellation's going to be always off. On-demand texture streaming, not going to go over this. Leave it off. You do not need this. Streaming quality, low. Volumetric quality, low. Physics quality, off. Do not need it at all. Water quality is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my entire life. The waves' wetness. Isn't water already wet? Like, I understand if you're playing multiplayer and you got a fucking NASA machine and you put this on, then I understand. You can go ahead and choose whatever the fuck you want here. If you're playing multiplayer and you want to deep dive through water and all that shit. But for Warzone, default, you do not need this. There's no difference. Go jump into a game by having this at default, jump into water or stand next to water. Then change it to the best that it can be, this one, and go stand by the water again or jump into the water. There's no difference. No fucking difference. But the big difference it does is, if it's not on default and it's on this, it's going to eat FPS. You're going to run lower frames and you're going to do about 70, I don't know, 80 FPS. You won't hit 120, you won't hit 130, you won't hit 200 at all. You'll never hit that FPS if you're using these. You don't need these fucking things. Turn it off to default. Alright, this shadow map resolution, very low, don't need it in the game at all, especially since you're playing a battle royale game. Screen space, shadows, off. Spot shadow quality, low. Spot cache is now on ultra for the new season. Alright, particle lighting at low. Ambient occlusion, off, off, always off, don't turn it on, leave it off and done. Alright, screen space reflections off. Static reflection quality low. Weather grid volumes off. Don't need it in the game. I'm not going to explain this every fucking time. Turn it the fuck off and done. On plus boost on Nvidia reflex low latency. That's the best that it can be on. If you put it on, you are going to lose FPS. You're going to get stuttering in the game. If you put this completely off, you're going to get stuttering and FPS loss. So, on plus boost, best that you can go for. Depth of field, these three options over here, you do not need in a multiplayer game, okay? Depth of field, world motion blur, and weapon motion blur, you do not need. Don't touch the shit, leave it the fuck alone, alright? Foam grain, your own personal preference, and then you go into apply these settings to your liking, okay? This is mine, like I said, this is what I'm using. Now, yours might be different. You can try this one out, like I said. Go ahead and try it out. This is my best option I'm using right now for the new season. Try this out. If it doesn't work for you, try my other options. From here, we're going to go to interface and we're going to go to color customization and then keep this at filter 2. It will always stay at filter 2. Keep this at both 100%, 100%. Scroll all the way down to where you see enemy. Click on it and then choose your own personal color for your enemy to be. Mine is pink over here. It's magenta. You can literally copy this code over here or type it in yourself and say apply custom color and it makes your enemies pop in the game. Alright, now what this will do is, this filter 2 and these on both, it will make the game pop. Grass will look brighter, everything will look better. Your gun skins, your character skins, your friends that's running in front of you with character bought skins and stuff like that will look better. The ground will look better, everything looks better with filter 2 and both of these on 100%. Now, the most important step that you can take after doing all of this for this to apply to your machine, and then you're going to need to restart your machine, is this over here. You're going to come over here where it says display, you're going to click on restart shader optimization, click on this and then say restart. Now what you're going to do is you're going to press escape, 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 go out of your game completely to your desktop. launch the game again, okay? Then it's going to say installing shaders up here. Now, it will get stuck sometimes at 99%. It will get stuck sometimes at 89%. Some bullshit, it will get stuck somewhere. That's just code. It's fucked. They haven't fixed that yet. They'll probably fix it sometime since the developers are so fucking lazy and on crack. Alright? So, what's going to happen is this. You're going to come back into the game, leave your mouse, don't touch your keyboard, don't touch your mouse, don't do anything. Let the shaders finish, let the settings apply that I just showed you to change, and then you go ahead and jump into a game. If this worked for you, smash that motherfucking like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new here. And as always, hope this helped you. Just here to help the Call of Duty community as best I can. Become a member of my YouTube channel if you would love to support my YouTube channel. As always, peace